How's everyone doing on this Virgo full moon lunar eclipse? Oh, I'm a bit knocked out, and I think it's probably because this is a south node eclipse, and so it's particularly releasing. So full moons they're at the peak of a moon cycle, and it's a buildup of energy that releases. And a south node eclipse is more releasing because it's karmic, right? It's about the past, it's about releasing the past. And yeah, I think I'm feeling a bit tired. The last time I came on here with my pajamas was actually the Pisces lunar eclipse, like the first one in these series that we've been experiencing since the fall of 2024. Yeah. What is an eclipse? An eclipse is when one of the luminaries is blocked, is obscured. So right now, the moon is being obscured right now, and it's symbolizing something that has been unknown or unseen or hidden is revealed to us. And the moon is a symbol of the mind and the unconscious mind and other parts too of the mind, which is really interesting, and I feel is coming up in this delineation of this full moon. The mind body, or the subtle body, or even the emotional body, right? They're kind of the same thing referred to with those three names. And because Jupiter is actually really prominent in this chart, and because Jupiter is in the sign of Cancer, I think the focus is on the health of the mind body and really taking the time to stock our toolbox, so to speak, to practices that help regulate us in these really intense times. I think it has to do with a lot of the outer planet activity, and certainly these eclipses have really been proving to be signs of leadership, high prominent figures falling, which is really, really amazing that has happened. But so much has happened, and we should take care of ourselves. So this is very Virgo priestess energy here, imagining the priestess cleaning and blessing, consecrating the four directions in her temple space and her body as temple space as an extension. This is really coming through really loud for me. I am a Virgo rising, so yeah, so this is happening in my first house, which is really interesting. The energetic hygiene is definitely a subject here, I think, for me, but for everyone, right? And how we allow ourselves to get hooked into distraction, and how and where we could be discovering actually where we have energy leaks, right? And again, it's finding the new habits and the new rituals, our new daily rituals, to help fortify our sovereign space, right? So if we break down this eclipse that happened this morning on March 3rd on the east coast of the U.S., well, I did say that eclipses bring in new awarenesses, and this could be felt now, certainly, but also, up to a week after. And this is really course correction. This is the cosmos, doing its course correction for us. So we should just lean into it. So full moons are the peak of a moon cycle, which is the release of the buildup of energy that started at the new moon. And in this case, the start of this moon cycle was the Aquarius new moon, solar eclipse, 2 weeks ago. So in addition to this Virgo Pisces dynamic with the nodes of the moon, there is a co-presence of Aquarius. Yeah, which adds a collective lens in the delineation of this also very personal and emotional eclipse. But, for now, let's just keep it really simple. So Virgo is at 12 degrees. the second decan is collectively and socially oriented. But the second decan of Virgo is governed by Saturn. And it's interesting because this adds significance. It adds to the significations of the South Node, or K2. K2 is the tail of the dragon demigod Rahu, who was split in half by Vishnu for drinking the nectar of immortality and swallowing the sun and the moon. So, yeah. So let me repeat that. K2, aka the South Node, the dragon tail, relates to Saturn because K2 is the point of the nodal axis that symbolizes past actions, karma. It is a karmic release and spiritual liberation. So the more we hold on to the past in South Node eclipses, the more pain we could experience. What is meant to be will be. Que sera, sera. The future is not ours to see. Right? So karma is mysterious, and yeah, you know, I don't think the Vedic the Vedic writings really explain it, right? So we can think we know. You know, if I do this, then good things are going to happen. If I go towards the North Node, right, then good things are going to happen to me. And so now maybe you're sensing that relationship that the South Node has with the North Node. And because we are told in modern evolutionary astrology that the North Node is what we're striving for. That's what we're reaching for. That's our line of greatest development and soul development. But for the Vedic astrologers, the North Node can be hungry and cloying and become a form of illusion, right? Created by attachment, and therefore causes great suffering. It's like, can we win here? So with the current moon cycle that started in this Aquarius solar eclipse, we shouldn't stop striving for a better evolved humanity, you know, because we're talking about Aquarius here. I feel that there is a need, though, to be a little more dispassionate for the sake of the future. Because it feels to me that we could very well be annihilated with this energy, right? You know, hope needs to carry on, even if there's no salvation in sight, even when it does seem hopeless. But yeah, so that's just like my little side comment. But really, the North Node has not yet moved into the sign Aquarius until Leo season. So we can sort of go back to focusing on the Virgo full moon. But it is quite remarkable how eclipses can be an omen for powerful leaders to fall, and in this case, die in what is happening in the world stage. So it's pretty wow. Unbelievable. But for anybody that is a student of Hellenistic astrology, isn't, you know. So why don't we focus on Pisces and the stellium there? So this moon has a very strong oppositional energy with Pisces, as you know, the stellium with the North Node, Mercury, Venus, now Mars, right? Did I say the North Node? So anyway, so how are they really expressing here? Well, I think that first and foremost, the stellium is saying to follow more of your intuitive understandings of things, and that, you know, it is non-linear, and this is because Mercury is retrograde in the sign of Pisces, and Mercury isn't so strong in the sign of Pisces because it's not linear. It's not really so much logical, and you're using a different sense in your brain. So Jupiter is essentially the dispositor of Mercury, right? So Mercury is the ruling planet of Virgo, and since it's in the sign of Pisces, then we look to where Jupiter is. And Jupiter is in the sign of Cancer right now, and the ruling planet of Cancer is the moon. So we have a very, very strong moon, which does hold a lot of promise for deep healing, I feel, you know, and we should allow ourselves to embrace it, you know, to embrace that, even if, especially if we can't see the forest from the trees right now, you know, if we're still feeling in the dark of these eclipses in this portal, or in the dark night with, you know, great uncertainty, you know. The moon symbolizes the mind body, or the subtle emotional body, right? And so, yeah, this is really strong in my awareness. You know, the moon rules the lymphatics. So maybe the question is, you know, where do you need more flow? Where are the emotions stuck in the body? You know, can we feel where that is? And yeah, I mean, we could very well be in fawn or freeze mode regarding the particulars of our life, of our personal life, but also the shocking and destabilizing collective climate. What's really pronounced in Jupiter and Cancer is memory and our lived experiences. And with the South Node, karmas, bad or good, there is some potent karmic releases, the ending of a cycle, spiritual liberation. And to me, that's wisdom, lessons learned. So let's not get stuck in the grief. Feel it, but also be sure to release it. And if you need to get into some sort of ritual, then do it. It's not so much that the ritual works, it's the act of the ritual that makes it work. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, maybe you got me. Maybe you understood there that statement. That it's worth noting that this isn't over, right? We are in the middle of the process. We have the last Virgo lunar eclipse in the series on February 2027, and where this culminates, right? But for now, we're getting really good data here about the endings that we may feel that we keep going through. So the last lunar eclipse in Virgo at the start of the series was in March last year, around the time Saturn and Neptune were in the last degrees of Pisces for the first time, right? So they did retrograde, and now they are in the sign of Aries for good, right, in their forward momentum. But this should be somewhat of an echo, right? There's something continuing in the process that has already started. You know, it was a major eclipse portal because Venus was also retrograde in Pisces, and she's direct now in Pisces, but as an evening star. So we have a mature, magnetic Venus here. Side note, and when she moves into Aries, I think that she's really going to be gunning for justice. You know, we're really are just going to be getting a stronger and stronger Venus. And, you know, her sydonic cycle started in the sign of Aries, so I think she's going to still continue to be very yang, even though she's an evening star, right? So the evening star kind of denotes her to be in a more of a yin and receptive space. But I think also being in the sign of Capricorn, which is also a sign that Mars is, exalted in, there could still be some very strong energy coming from Venus, right? Maybe something a little uncharacteristic of her, but nonetheless, I think that, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. So Jupiter has been in retrograde since November 11/11, and will be moving forward, right, in March 10th, which is about a week from now. So we're just asked to be a little bit more patient and still be in the looking back to go forward process, right? So this is a healing journey, you know, and I think that what's going to happen here is that we're going to get insights on how we can gain agency, actually, to heal our mind-body space, right? And we can do that. But also, I think that there could be this really great opportunity to heal ancestral karmas, right? And the wound of the Great Mother at this time, right? That the feminine aspect of humanity is really suffering right now. And, you know, it's, you know, the matriarchy is asking to come back, right? Wants to come back. There are people that are organizing and trying to get the matriarchy back into power, you know? So for me, the Virgo and Pisces synthesis of this lunar eclipse is really telling us that the task is to enlarge ourselves, right? To enlarge ourselves enough to contain the love of the universe. Conceptualize that as the size of a whale when you're maintaining your sovereign space, right? I need to fit the love of the entire universe in my sovereign space, in my healing grace, as healing grace, right? The Pisces stellium is showing the way to stay connected to the love that is the universe is to stay connected to our emotional bodies, even and especially in the up and downs of the current endings and the turbulent waves that feel violent and destructive. And of course, we can do without the violence, but the destruction of the old feels really appropriate. So Virgo knows how to create the conditions for grace to enter the space. And as the healer, she knows how to contain it all. The past, the present, the grief, and the joy. All of it, right? And Pisces is that oneness, the unity of that all. So I really love seeing when in these full moons, with these oppositional signs, how they come together and they start looking less and less different and more the same. So I'm really feeling that as far as the healing aspects of both Pisces and Virgo and their deeply spiritual and devoted aspects that we can cultivate in our lives and in ourselves right now. So if any of you are interested in seeing how this is playing out in your birth chart, the current transits, please reach out on DM or comment below. And otherwise, I hope you're moving through the energies with so much love and ease and grace, and I'll see you next time.